For the first half cycle, for the first positive half of the cycle, for this part means what do we have is this portion will be connected in the this portion would be connected like a positive half, positive. So this will be positive, this will be negative. That means this is acting in a forward bias. This will be negative, this will become positive, this acts in a reverse bias. So reverse bias, the current will be blocked. Forward bias, the current will be present. So only I am getting a current corresponding to the forward bias. Is it okay? Next, when I use this for the second half, okay, for the negative half of the first cycle, that means for the negative half for the first cycle will mean that this will become positive. Sorry, this will become negative and this will become positive. When this has become negative and this has become positive, so this diode now operates under reverse bias. This diode operates under the forward bias. So forward bias as well as the reverse bias. So if it is operating under reverse bias, so the current is not present. If it is operating under forward bias, so what will happen? Current will be there. So that's why I'm getting this value. Okay, for D2 because of D2. Because of D1, I'm not getting anything in the full wave rectifier. So after this, we have to analyze this value. Okay, I have to analyze the value. Again, this is not in something in the NCRT, but yes, it was sometimes before. So for half wave rectifier, if you see, so for half wave rectifier, you can just remember the values. They are very simple. They are very easy to remember. So for half wave rectifier, we try to find out the average current as well as we want to find out the RMS current. Is it okay? So the average current is basically on the output side. So what is the value? I naught by pi. And RMS value is I naught by 2. Is it okay? For half wave rectifier, these are the values. For full wave, they may be sometimes asked in some exams and all. Okay. So just remember these values. Not in NCRT. Okay. They are not given in the NCRT. So average current in this case will be given as 2 times of I naught by pi. And here it will be IRMS will become I naught by root 2. That's the only difference between the half wave rectifier and full wave rectifier. So I think this is the easy values only to remember. Okay, these are the easy values only, not tough, not tough. Is it fine? Now let us see the efficiency now. Okay, let us see the efficiency of the rectifiers. So next topic is efficiency of rectifier. So within the efficiency of the rectifiers, what we actually have is, suppose if this is an AC supply. Okay, this is a AC supply, and from this AC supply I have connected a rectifier. So that complete setup, what we are doing is we are just putting a box, and you with this box you have to understand that what we have made is we have a rectifier here. Rectifier. Okay, we have a rectifier here, and this rectifier is being connected to the load resistor. Load resistor. This is only output. This is our output and this is our input. Is it okay? Now, this rectifier has a resistance RD. RD means resistance of a diode. Resistance, a small resistance will be offered by a diode. So resistance of diode. This is the resistance of diode, that's RD. Is it fine? This is RD. Now, let us see the efficiency of rectifier. So always efficiency is calculated corresponding to output upon input. So power, whatever you are getting in output, okay, Whatever power you are getting in output divided by the power that you get in the input. Is it okay? This is what the efficiency is. Now, also we know that how can I give the efficiency formula? It is I square, okay, into resistance R here. I square into resistance R over here. Now, don't think that these R will be same. Try to understand this thing over here. Output is where? Where is your output? Output is this only. This is not the part of output. This part is not my part of output. Output is only this. So when I am putting the power of output, so only I will consider this resistance, because rectifier resistance is not my output. So what I will write here, resistance of load only. And because this is AC, DC, rectifier gives me DC. So this has to be what? I average value. Why I average we are using? Because this is a DC current, so average value only we will take. Okay, so this becomes a average value, because this is a DC supply, because it is DC in nature. Because it is DC in nature, so I have to consider average only. I don't consider the RMS values. But what about these? What about this? This is a RAC and sorry, this is AC. So for AC currents, for AC supply, we generally try to write down the formula in terms of RMS. We try to write down the formulas in terms of RMS. So this has to be RMS value. That's why RMS, because this is an AC supply, because it is AC in nature. Because this current is AC in nature, that's why we take RMS value. And because the output side is DC, that's why we are taking average current. Now, coming to the input, input means it would include this resistance also, and it would include this resistance also. Try to understand. The source always provides the current. Okay, it always provides the current corresponding to the resistances here. Okay, the resistance is connected. The source will always send a current corresponding to that only. So whenever input I am taking, so for input I have to consider RD also, I have to consider load also. So this formula has to be written in this manner. Okay, this formula will be written like this. Is it okay? So now this formula can be rewritten as I average divided by I RMS whole square. Within bracket, I can write this as 1 divided by RD plus RL by RL. So this would become what? I average divided by I RMS square, total divided by it would be, if I solve this, so this will become 1 plus RD by RL. So this is what efficiency becomes now. Okay, but for you the questions won't come in neat from this part. What you have to just remember is that the efficiency of half wave rectifier is just twice of the efficiency of full wave rectifier. When you substitute the values for full wave rectifier and half wave rectifiers, what you have to do, you have to just substitute this value and this value, you'll get this result. And generally this value is somewhere around 40.06, and this value, okay, this efficiency for full wave rectifier would become 81%, somewhere around this. So if you remember this direct values also, they may be asked to you. Okay, so this is a simple thing only, not much difficult. If you remember this circuit, you can understand how this formula has been written. So RL has to be, RL is the load resistance, and this is only the output. That's why I have written RL here. Why I'm considering average here? I'm considering average here because it's a DC in nature, and for DC always we take a average current. Now on input side I have a AC source. Because if it is a AC source, everything is written in the RMS terms. I would have told you in during alternating current chapter that whenever any bulb or any device has been written that 220 volt and this much of current, so this 220 volt whatever is written, this is what, this is a RMS voltage. Okay, this is a RMS voltage. So this is IRMS, this is RMS current, RD plus RL. This is what RD and this is RL. RD and RL, why? Because this source will only send that much amount of current. This source will send that much amount of current only, okay, depending upon the resistors connected ahead of it in the circuit. So I am having load also, I am having resistance, diode also. So both the resistance have to be considered. Now just simplify it, you will get this equation over here. And when you substitute the I average and I RMS for half wave separately, you will get a result. When you put the I average and I RMS for full wave rectifier, you will get a result. And those results will be somewhat like this. You just check and you'll get the answer like that. So this is what the full wave and the half wave rectifier is. If you write this much, you will get full marks. Okay, you'll get full marks in the board. And in NEET, what they will ask you, they will just ask you this graph. Okay, one thing they can ask you. Second thing what they can ask you is this values they can ask you. Okay, these values they will ask you. They will not ask you the numerical part. Okay, for NEET students, the numerical part in this exam is less, very less. So from here they will either ask you that what is this rectifier doing, what is the efficiency, these things only they will ask you in NEET. Otherwise they will not ask you anything typical, very typical they avoid. In JEE they will ask you, in JEE they can ask you. Okay, in JEE they can ask you these things. If you are aiming to write JEE, so JEE they will ask you these things. Okay, now the next is Zener diode as an voltage stabilizer. Now this is a DC voltage stabilizer. So all those who have seen a voltage stabilizer work at their houses, okay, we just put or we use voltage stabilizer generally with the refrigerator. Generally we use this voltage stabilizer with the AC. Okay, and if any area is having a constant fluctuation in the current supply, then we install a voltage stabilizer for complete house so that a constant voltage can be maintained. Now that voltage stabilizer is a different thing. This voltage stabilizer is a different thing. That works on a AC source. That works on an AC source. This works on a DC source. The one which you see in our normal life, okay, which one is installed in our houses, that was once part of physics syllabus. Okay, transistor topic was there. Okay, transistors topic were there. So we used to study in that transistors, but now because transistor has been removed, so that part also we will be not studying. So only this is the topic left for us, and this is a different stabilizer. The one which you see in your houses is a different stabilizer. So don't get confused that this is the same stabilizer that you are using in your houses for AC, for refrigerator. No, that is using transistor. This is using Zener diode. That's both are different thing, entirely different thing. So don't get confused here. So Zener diode as an voltage stabilizer. A brief about it I have already told you when I was teaching this Zener diode. a brief. Okay, briefing I have done a little bit when I was taking this Zener diode for you. So I hope, okay, if it has, I have just removed, I guess. Okay, no problem. If you remember the Zener breakdown, okay, so how was the Zener breakdown happening? So whenever there was a small current, whenever there is a small current, okay, when there is a small current, not a small current, a small voltage. So first of all, let me draw the circuit and then we will study it. So the circuit would look like this. The circuit would look like this. See here. Suppose this is a load. Suppose this is a load. Okay. This load will be connected with the diode, a Zener diode, in this manner. And now this will be connected with the external DC source. Now, Zener diode is operated under reverse bias condition, or is it operated under forward bias condition? Zener diode is operated under reverse bias condition, or is it operated under forward bias condition? Yes, it is operated under reverse bias. Good. So reverse bias condition means this N side should be connected to higher terminal. This is N side. This is P side. So N side should be connected with the higher terminal. It is connected. P type should be connected with the lower terminal. It is being connected. So this is what? A reverse biasing. This is a reverse biasing. Is it okay? Now, what we do is we try to put a resistor here. We try to put a resistor here. That's very, very important. And this resistor is having a, suppose this is RL. Load is having a resistance of RL. This is a external resistor called as R. This is an external resistor called as R. Now try to understand this situation. If I ask you at a small potential difference, okay, at a small potential difference given by external source, okay, if V external value is small, will a huge current flow or will a small current flow? Tell me, will a huge current flow or will a small current flow through the diode? So I can say a small current will only flow. A small current only flows if this voltage is very, very less. So what I can say is that no significant current can be seen. No significant current. No significant current can be seen if this external voltage is having a small value. Okay. Only a small reverse current is there. Only a small, very small. Okay. Only a small reverse current flows into circuit. Flows into circuit. Okay. Now, this is not the zone which we are looking for. This is not the zone which we are looking for. We are looking for the breakdown region. So at breakdown voltage, okay, at voltages which is greater than or which has achieved breakdown voltage, okay. So at breakdown voltage, what would happen? What would happen at the breakdown voltage? Try to see this. Let me go. Okay. Now see here, at breakdown voltage, what will happen? What will happen at the breakdown voltage? So during breakdown voltage, a huge amount of current will flow. A huge amount of current will start to flow. Is it okay? So what was the circuit here? What was the diagram? What was the characteristic that we had drawn? Try to analyze this using that. So this is current in microamperes, and this is the voltage. So very small current was initially flowing, okay? But as the voltage reaches the breakdown voltage, what happens? A sudden rise in the voltage is seen. A sudden rise in the voltage is seen in this way, like this. Is it okay? So this point, I'm just zooming this. This point that you see, this is only called as breakdown voltage. V suffix B. V suffix B is this only. Now, my point is that I have to keep a voltage. I have to keep the voltage constant almost. So if I'm operating, if my diode operates beyond this, so if there is a change in huge current, if suppose this is I1, suppose this is I2, this is I1, this is I2, and if I draw the corresponding, voltages, so one voltage is here, another voltage is somewhere over here. Another voltage will be somewhere over here. Just see the difference. Can you see the difference? For a huge difference in the current, very less change in the potential. So suppose this is V2, this is V1. So for a huge value of difference in the current, I am having a huge difference in the potential. This property of Zener diode is only used. This property of Zener diode is only used. Understood? Now, how it is used? Let us analyze that part. Okay? How it is used, let us analyze that part and then we'll move ahead. So what's happening actually here, that when at a breakdown voltage, if there is a huge difference in current, then why there is not a huge difference in a voltage? Yeah, that only we will see. Okay, that only we will see. Okay, that why if there is a change in a voltage current, why there is not change in a voltage? So why? So for that only this external resistance is applied. For that only this external resistance is applied. What will happen? Wait a minute, we'll see that. So what I can say is that a huge current is seen here when the diode goes into the breakdown region. So at breakdown voltage, huge current is seen. Okay, because now see this, if the huge current is seen, what about the resistance of the diode? Yes, what about the resistance of the diode, can you say? If the huge current is seen in the diode, what is the value of resistance? The resistance across the diode, the resistance value across the diode will increase, will decrease, or what will happen if the current is more? Try to analyze this and tell me the answer. Try to understand the question first of all. If current is increasing, if the current is increasing, huge current is seen here, what can I say for the resistance of the diode? If the resistance is less, so huge current is seen because, okay, because resistance of diode decreases or decreases, yes, decreases suddenly. Okay, suddenly it decreases, and then only what will happen? Sudden shoot in the current is seen here. Sudden shoot in the current is seen here. Now, if the current is increasing, so what will happen to this resistor? Yes, the first point that you can understand here is that the huge current is flowing across this. Okay, and if the huge current is seen, so what will happen? This is having a very less amount of resistance. What will happen to the potential drop across the RL? Yes, potential drop across R would be what? VR is equals to I into R. R is a constant for external resistance. I in the circuit is very large. I value in the circuit is very large. Yes or no? Are you getting this point? I value in the circuit is very large. So that means the potential difference across the R will also increase. Na? So potential difference across R would increase suddenly as I is large. And from where you can say this, you can say this from this formula of the potential difference, that if R is a constant, since R is a constant, okay, I is increasing, this implies potential difference, that's V into R would increase. Is it okay? Now, try to see this, that as the potential difference across the RL is increasing, okay, what will happen to the potential difference across this? It will lower it. It will lower its value. Yes, because the potential drop in the circuit will be zero na? In this common circuit. If it is there, you are providing a breakdown voltage here. So what will happen in this circuit if you apply a KVL and KCL and all? So what will happen if the potential drop across this has increased, the potential drop across this will be decreasing. Understood? The potential drop across this would be decreasing because the resistance is going down. So what will happen? This will be almost having a particular value of voltage. Okay, it will be having a particular value of voltage. Now, next case, what will happen? Suppose if the current is less, if the current lies in this region, suppose not here, it suppose lies somewhere over here. I'll just change the color. Suppose if the current is lying in this region, in this green region, so this current is small, okay, but even though the potential is remaining constant. So what property of the Zener diode we are using is that for a Zener diode, even if there is a huge change in the current, the potential drop would be almost same. The output potentials are almost same. And if the output potential across this is same, the load will be having a constant potential. The fluctuations will be maintained. So this is what we have for this thing. Okay. So if you have any kind of doubt, now you ask. Yes. Yes. Any doubt you have? So one point you can add here. Okay. I'll just write down that point that will help you to understand in future, that as potential difference across R increases, okay, due to heavy current, if the potential drop across R increases, this implies what would Zener diode do? This Zener diode would it would what would Zener diode would increase, okay? Sorry, Zener diode would decrease its potential, okay? The potential will decrease and Vz is maintained. Now, as potential difference across R decreases, okay? As the potential difference across R decreases due to low current, is it okay? If the potential difference across the R decreases, what happens? The current okay, the current value I across Zener decreases. This implies the voltage, this increase and decrease in the potential of the Zener diode is occurring, and that's why a constant potential is maintained. Is it okay? If you have any doubt now, you can ask. Yes. So this was all about the Zener diode as a voltage stabilizer, and this is the circuit. So this is an important part. Okay, this is an important part. See, just try to understand this concept first of all. From this graph will help you to understand. Try to see this thing. Is there difficulty in understanding this curve? Is there any difficulty in understanding this curve? So in this curve, what actually it is saying that this is the breakdown voltage. Now at breakdown voltage, what will happen? At breakdown voltage, what is happening? That yes, that the this what is happening? The electrons are pulled. Electrons are pulled, okay, from conduction band. Electrons are pulled from valence band towards conduction band. Now, this increases what? This is only increasing the current. This increases the current value. Okay, for a constant voltage, what has happened? For a constant voltage, what has happened? That the current is increasing. Is it okay? Now, if I take my Zener diode within this region, if I take my Zener diode working into this region, so even if I have a small fluctuation, even if I have a small fluctuation in the current, what will happen? The constant voltage is applied. Now, the question you are asking is why the voltage remains constant. So the answer is that initially, suppose what has happened, just go back to the concept of Zener diode. So in Zener diode, when it was acting in a reverse bias, so suppose this is P type, this is N type, and suppose if it is acting in this, it is connected in this way. Now, when what is happening here? Suppose if this bond, okay, if this bond here, this is a hole and this is a electron, this is a hole, this is an electron, hole and electron. Now try to see this. When an electron is pulled, from the valence band towards the conduction band, then the current is going, okay, then the current is increasing. So at that time, at that instant, for that potential, okay, that is constant only. No, you are not changing that. That means suppose at 100 volt, this has started to happen. So suddenly at 100 volt, what has started to happen? The valence band, the electrons from the valence band have been starting to move towards the conduction band at 100 volt. So this is the nature of the non-ohmic conductor. So don't think that Don't here think that sir V is equals to IR, so always this will be valid. No, this is valid only for the ohmic conductor. V is equals to IR is valid for the ohmic conductor. Here we are studying a non-ohmic conductors. So don't think that V is equals to IR will always be true here. No. Okay. Here this is a dynamic resistance. Here this is a dynamic resistance. This is not a ohmic resistance. So this thing you just leave that it will follow this rule. No, it won't follow. At constant voltage also the current will be moving and the resistance decreases. That is what happens. So just try to understand this reverse nature of the Zener diode. That would be only helping you. Okay. Any other doubt you have? See, tomorrow this syllabus is finished. Okay. The semiconductor topic has been finished. So tomorrow you just do one thing. You revise everything from the semiconductors. Okay. Everything you revise from the semiconductors, and we will have a doubt clarification sessions tomorrow. Okay. You are only having a class from 2:30 to 3:30. So 1 hour we'll have some doubt clarification session and we'll be solving some numericals on that. Okay. So there are no much numericals in this though. Okay. We don't have many numericals in this chapter. Most of the things are just direct concept, just direct theory portions we only have. But still you have to go through the theory. At least you have to understand each and every point. If suppose any point you have missed, okay, in this complete lesson of semiconductors, tomorrow just gather all of them, okay, and we will have a doubt clarifications tomorrow on semiconductors. Is it okay? Yes. Okay. So now just see this thing. We can do some questions on what is the next this weekend topic. What is the weekend topic for test? What is the weekend topic? Dual nature and photoelectric effect. Okay, dual nature and photoelectric effect. Okay. So let us do some questions on dual nature. Okay. Let us do some questions on dual nature because still we are having some time left. So let us do some question on dual nature. So see this first question. Very easy questions I'll be giving, not much difficult, whatever you had. So just can you tell me one thing, that if this is a graph, if this is a graph across, this is frequency, this is a stopping potential here, this is the frequency thing. This is a stopping potential and this is frequency. I am drawing two graphs, two curves here, A and B. Can you tell me which is having more threshold wavelength? More threshold wavelength for which material? Yes, threshold wavelength. More threshold wavelength will be for which material? Tell me. Threshold wavelength will be more for which material? See how to identify this thing. So first of all, we know that this is from photoelectric effect, Einstein's equation. So how did we write this equation first of all? So energy, final this incident energy is equal to the phi value plus kinetic energy, maximum kinetic energy we had assumed. Now, kinetic energy, maximum kinetic energy was written in terms of stopping potential. This is a threshold. This is work function. So in terms of wavelength, if I will be writing it in this way, hc by lambda. This energy, if I want to write, I'll be writing this in terms of hc. Okay, hc by lambda. Now, mu is inversely proportional to lambda, so I can say that this is mu or this is 1 by lambda. I can say it like that also. Okay, I can say either this is mu or either I can say this is as 1 by lambda. It's up to me. Now, v naught value, how would you write? It would be hc by lambda minus hc by lambda th divided by e. So e and e must be here. Is it okay? E and e must be here. So if you see this relation, if you see this equation once again, okay. So this is the intercept. This is the intercept. So hc by e lambda th. Intercept c is directly, intercept is this value. Now, intercept for which one is greater? Is it greater for A or is it greater for B? Yes. This is the intercept for A. This is the intercept for B. So obviously the intercept value for B is greater. So this is B. This value is greater than hc by E lambda th for A. hc, E and E value got cancelled. Now what you can write here is, that this value and this value, just see this, take this here and take this here. So A, lambda A greater than lambda P. So which value is greater now? I asked for lambda. Okay, I asked for lambda value. See this. If lambda is greater, if this value is greater, then this total value will be less, na? If this value for A is greater, then only this complete value will dip down, na? So that's why lambda for A is greater, lambda of B is less in this case. Did you understand this? So today's slide you can take, okay, and whenever you are coming tomorrow, just go through the previous topics of semiconductor. We'll do few questions, previous year NEET questions only we'll be doing. So if you have any doubt, you can ask tomorrow. Tomorrow you have only one class and the syllabus is finished. No, communication system for board has been removed. It was removed last year only. Not for you, a batch before you in 2019 only it has been removed. So all those students who wrote the board exam in 2020, for them it was out of syllabus. Okay, so you don't have to worry. And NEET also, I don't think so any question had come this year. Okay, so we may do, if you want, we may do during the revisions, but one chapter, not a probability of like probability of almost a zero question. So I don't think so wastage of time is this putting some time on that is really that much important. So for board, it's not there, it's out of syllabus, completely out of syllabus. Okay, completely out of syllabus. Transistor also they have removed, even not in NCERT, they had removed from the NCERT also this year. You would be having new NCERT books, so just go through that. I think they should have removed it. What copy I have with me, it's not there. I'm only having the online one, not this book. So the online book, this I downloaded. I'm not having that semiconductor, this communication system in that, as well as transistor part in that. So it has been also removed from NCERT now. So tomorrow, don't forget, if any doubt is there, just ask, because this topic, you will have at least 7 to 8 marks of question, and very particular and specific theory is there, at least 1 or 2 question in NEET, and at least 3 questions in board. So very easy chapter, very small chapter, only theory are there. If you know all the theory, if you know how to write them, you can get full marks in this. And if you're not writing them properly, they will definitely reduce the marks. Okay, so everything has to be crystal clear. If you have any doubt, tomorrow you can ask. Only 1 hour class is there tomorrow. We'll do some questions also tomorrow. Thank you.